Hello, everyone. We're continuing our local election education series in partnership with the Citizens for Milford. We're taking you through all of the key positions that you will see on the 2025 Milford Town Election ballot, and an opportunity for us to learn more about the insight into these various positions, and what better way to do that than to talk to the individuals who hold these positions. And we're so pleased to have one of Milford's current select board members, the current chair of the Milford Select Board, Mike Walsh, with us today to tell us a little bit more about the position of select board member here in town. Mike, first and foremost, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
So, Mike, this is obviously a position that you have held here in the community for a long time now.
Yes.
If you could kind of give us a snapshot of the role of a select board member, maybe give us some of the basics of the key responsibilities.
Well, the select board, of course, is the governing body of the community. What makes Milford kind of unique is that you also have some boards in the community as well that have independently elected officials. So you have the Parks Department, the Sewer Department, the Water Department, which the people they have their own boards. So although the Board of Selectmen does oversee most boards within the community, there are still a couple of boards that are independently run by people that are elected by the citizens of the community. So that's why sometimes people may call one of the members of the select board with a concern about something that's going on in the Parks Department. We refer them to one of the Parks Commissioners. And it's not that we're not taking responsibility, but again, the park commissioners are independently elected and you need to go to them. But overall, the select board is the governing body of the community.
In terms of being on the select board, Mike, you've served several terms now on the board. What do you think is some important experience to have as an individual who may be interested in one day being on the select board?
I think it's important that, from my perspective, that you have served, that you have run for an elected office within the community. And I answer that question this way in that, and I know you're going to ask me about this later on, but it's important that you've had to run for an election. You've had to run an election. You've had to have gotten on the sidewalk. You've had to have knocked on doors. But you also learn to work the political system. And in other words, my 9 years in the school committee, the superintendent oversees the school district, and the role of a school committee member is, budget and policy. You're not running the school district. The superintendent does that, and it's important that you learn your roles so that and a lot of times the school committee, I use that as an example, is what is used to leapfrog into the Board of Selectmen. But I would say to anybody, get involved in something within the community where you can learn to negotiate, or navigate is a better word, with the finance committee boards that you're going to have to go in front of. If you have a program that you're looking to, or you're looking to put an article on the warrant at town meeting, you learn to work with these different boards to get, the information, or get what you need done. And so it's an educational process, because now when you step up to the Board of Selectmen, you're overseeing that. And it's good to have that behind you.
Yeah, important insight there. In terms of the select board, Mike, what's sort of and I know this may be a hard question to answer, but what would you say is the time commitment involved in being a select board member? I'm imagining that might vary based on maybe the time of year, or maybe the type of candidate that's serving on the board.
It does. So typically, your fall, using October, the end of September, end of October, end of April to the end of May, and that is because we've got the October town meeting, the special town meeting. May, of course, we have the regular town meeting. So you have town meeting, you have getting ready for town meeting, but also typically, as chairman, your role as chairman, there are a lot of citations that you have to give away, whether it's a 100th birthday for somebody, Eagle Scouts, different programs in the community. Typically, those are always done October-ish, May-ish. So, fall and spring are your hot times of year. Of course, summertime, everything quiets down. The holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, again, traditionally settles down, So the hours to speak of, it depends on what you're involved in. The meetings, typically, we meet, twice a month. And the meetings on average are a couple hours. Once in a while you'll get a straggler.
As you have continued to serve on the Milford Select Board, what would you say are maybe some of the particularly challenging aspects of the position, maybe things that you either anticipated going in or maybe things that you've learned along the way?
Well, I would say one of the challenges, and I dealt with it again, and I keep referring back to the school committee because we had contract negotiations. And so on the Board of Selectmen, you're dealing with multiple contract negotiations. And they're not a lack of a better word, a hostile situation, but it's a give and take. And so you know that there's a contract up, and they will come to you, and you look at the first proposal, and you say, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then it goes back, and so that can take some time and some understanding and being able to give and take. Okay, well, if we give this, what are we going to do here? And so that can be a challenge, and you just got to be level-headed and a good listener.
I'll maybe take this out to a bigger picture question and maybe take in some of your experience on the school committee as well. For people watching these videos who have never been part of an election process as a candidate, I'm sure there's probably a lot of things about navigating a campaign that would really be a shock to someone running for the first time. What are some of the things that are involved in being a candidate, in running for office that folks might not know?
Well, Tim, that's a great question because I was thinking about that last night, and it really has changed. So when I first ran for school committee, there was still organizational meetings. So mine was at the Italian Veterans Club, and basically people came and you made your presentation, and then you had tables set up. People that wanted to hold signs, people that wanted to knock on doors, and people would sign up for that. That has gone by the wayside. As multiple interviews on WMRC radio, here at the TV station. And, sign holding, Saturday morning sign holdings were big. The most important thing to me, and if I was talking to somebody that was going to run, get on the sidewalk and knock on doors, because people, I had experiences. I still tell this story. I walked up a driveway one day. A gentleman was out on the driveway, and he said, hold on. He ran in his house, came out with a piece of paper with 3 questions on it. So people know you're coming, or people are looking for you to come. The vast majority of people still want to see how hard you want to work for that seat, because when you get in that seat, how hard are you going to work for them? It's about the constituents that put you in that seat. That's who you're representing, and you have to keep that in the forefront of your mind at all times.
Yeah, really important. I'll close with this final question, Mike. Obviously, again, for people looking from the outside who have full-time jobs and a lot of responsibilities at home, the thought of holding a political office in town may be folks feeling like that's too much. You're someone who has navigated this on top of a lot of other life responsibilities for a long time. What keeps you going? What keeps you continuing to come out to run for office? What are those rewarding aspects of holding a local political office?
Well, I can answer that question very easily. One of the biggest things we hear today, Tim, and this is, you'll hear people say, well, Milford isn't the same. Milford isn't what it used to be. But nothing's the same. Things change. And to be part of that change is important. And I love this community. And has it changed in the 16, 17 years that I've been an elected official? Absolutely it's changed. But, be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And the rewards are great. And there are some rough times, but there are more rewarding times than there are rough times, because you can look and say, wow, together we did this. You didn't do it on your own, but it was the ability to sit with different people with different ideas on different boards and say, okay, what is what is our, what is our ultimate goal? What are we looking to do here? And it's that old saying, it's okay to agree to disagree, but what's your ultimate goal? So, it's challenging, but, I would say to anybody that's thinking of it, do it. And if you're worried about time, your time commitment, you'll find the time. Everybody's life is busy, but if you're committed to it, and you have a passion for it, you'll find the time. You'll carve the time out of your day. Absolutely.
No, outstanding insight, Mike. We really appreciate it. So, again, we continue to hope that these interviews and this information is helpful to folks out there to learn more about the local election process here in Milford and hopefully inspire people, certainly to get out and vote and possibly to get out and be a candidate yourself. But in the meantime, Select Board Chair Mike Walsh, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.